This is a message from your guides reading for the child. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and surround us in some positive space before I get into the crystals that I pulled. So I have first my citrine here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the crystals first, and then I'll talk about some things that came up. Okay, so this is my citrine. Like I said, this is a solar plexus stone. It has a lot to do with self-empowerment and also even like self-encouragement, feeling uplifted about yourself, self-esteem. It's a solar plexus stone. So of course it would also have to do with self-esteem, and I'm feeling that in correlation with the throat chakra also. And I'm feeling both of these chakras the most, the solar plexus and the throat chakra, and they actually have a lot to do with one another. They actually have a lot in common, those two chakras. They deal with a lot of the same areas, creating in some kind of way. This one is more artistic. This one more has to do with things like structures, finances, career, and things that you're passionate about, or that your ambitions, basically, whatever you're driven to create, but to create a kind of structure for yourself normally. Then also willpower. They both have a lot to do with willpower, self-empowerment, and also your self-identity. They both have a lot to do with. Of course, the throat chakra has a lot to do with self-expression, but I am getting this feeling like even that kind of correlates with the solar plexus, because the solar plexus is about moving forward, your drive, and so it is still putting yourself out in a sense. So it's kind of self-expression, really. So they both have a lot to do with one another. All right, so these are the other two that I pulled for you specifically. So this is my Jasper pyramid. So a lot of masculine energies in there, still some lower chakras going on here. So the solar plexus to a lower degree, your sacral and your root chakra. Definitely a lot of root going on with this stone, and also that's just what I'm feeling a lot. Then here we go again. I have my sunstone. So this is solar plexus mainly, and then also though your root and your sacral chakra. So all three of yours had something to do with at least one of these lower three chakras. And then I have the group stones. So this is the crystal quartz, and then this is my peacock ore. So a lot of colors in there. So this always tends to represent clearing to me. It's kind of an all-purpose stone, but it does represent in general clearing, things like psychic protection, clearing your auric space, and also calling on higher energies and entities like the angelic realms, fairies, extraterrestrials of a higher vibration. And when you put that with this stone, we're definitely talking about clearing out the chakras for our group today. Since that one's all about clearing, and this one has to do with clearing out all the chakras to begin with and kind of getting them all in alignment and in tune with each other. Okay, so I feel like I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use all three of the stones that I pulled for you today. I'm going to surround you in some more protective space. So I'll go over kind of briefly though what was coming through, which is, it feels like you're releasing a lot. I kind of feel like you're always releasing a lot, which is a good thing. But I feel like lately especially you've been doing kind of a lot of purging and detoxing. I think I even remember you using that word, purging. They popped that in my head for a second, but I remember you actually used that exact word in your email. So confirmation there. Yes, you have been doing a lot of purging, a lot of cleansing. But there's this feeling, when I was surrounding you in the protective space, it actually felt like your aura was kind of being sealed, like it was being kind of closed up. So it felt like it was a little bit too open, and it felt like it had to do with all the energies that you're releasing. So it's like when you release all this stuff, there can be kind of this vacuum there, and then it's like this very open space. You don't want something else to come in there. So it's good to make sure that this is very filled. And I got a feeling of the sun. I don't know if that was for the monthlies or the weeklies that the sun was coming in, but I'm remembering that. I had a rune. I think it might have been for the monthlies actually with our group. But I had a rune that represented the sun, and it was about contacting your higher self. But with you, I'm feeling like sun energies and literally like pulling them in. So I would be outside in the sunshine and the fresh air, and I get a feeling of literally feeling like you're pulling the sun's energy in, and then just nature itself. Also a really grounded feeling, like you want to feel like you're pulling it from the earth as well, up from the earth like into your feet. So grounding is also going to help you to clear this space and seal this space up, I feel like. Yeah, because the feeling of grounding is like a feeling of being solidified, is what your guides are saying. And so if you think of kind of coming down, you're more grounded, you're more centered, that automatically is going to bring the rest of your aura kind of centered, kind of closed more so. And then I started feeling the throat, and I was kind of feeling like the throat was a little too open as well. I feel like in general it's too closed. So not too open as in the chakra is like really open, because I feel like that's actually something that you would want. You would want this throat chakra to be more open. Sometimes the chakra can be too closed, sometimes it can be too open. But this is this other thing that they're talking about where your aura is kind of too open because of all the stuff that you've been releasing. So the throat chakra, it's like there's some space in there where you've cleared out some stuff and now you have all this room in there. You have like open space in there. So it's not that the chakra is too open, it's just this kind of empty space in there. So you can think about the solar plexus and the throat chakra and actually bringing these energies down into it. It's going to clear it more, revitalize it, but it's also going to help to fill that space with something that's positive, which is what you want. You don't want some other thought form to just come up into that space and try to claim it, and then you have another thing that you could end up identifying with. So that will just fill that space. And so in other words, you'll be still having a problem with expressing or whatever it is that that area kind of resides over, in a sense, but you'll just have a different reason as to why you're doing it now, kind of thing. Okay, so we are on our time frame, but I am just going to do this again. Okay, and now with the sunstone here. Okay, so that's a little better. I would still do a little bit more work on yourself, though. Some of the things that they've suggested, as I feel like I could continue for for a little bit longer, but I don't really feel like your guides have anything else to say. So I don't feel like this reading is the next half hour. So I'm going to go ahead and close this reading. So thank you very much for another one, and I will see you next week. Namaste.